All right. Now, since we don't have any existing ETL specifications, this part is all blank. But once we have specifications, we'll be seeing all the specifications here, and we can select the filter condition to filter on project name, connection name, table name, or package name. All right, let's go ahead and create a new specification. Let's click on add new specification, and it will open this new specification document pop-up box. The first thing it requests you is about project name. Project name right now is an optional field. You can provide it or you don't have to provide it. But if you would like to group some of the packages together, just provide the project location. Let's go ahead and call it demo. And then destination type. Right now it's only table, but in future we'll be adding flat files and Excel files. So you will be able to export data into flat files or Excel files. But for now, we can only load it into table in this first version. All right. Destination connection. This is the connection where we want our table to be loaded into. So since we don't have any connections, it doesn't have any connection in the list. Let's go ahead and create a new connection by clicking on add new connection and then provide the location. Let's go ahead and use AdventureWorks. So localhost and then AdventureWorks and then test connection. All right, and then click save. Successfully created. All right, if the table into which we are trying to load is already existing in database, then we can click on this is an existing table and it will show us all the list of tables. For this demo, I'm going to use a brand new table. So I'm going to uncheck that and then create the name. Let's call it demo table. And then you can provide whatever package name you would like to have. I would like to be consistent and call this as PKG. And then data load type. In data load type, we have two options. We can just truncate and reload our destination table or insert and update. When it comes to truncate and reload, it just wipes out table and then inserts all the records again. If we provide insert and update, here we'll have to provide a few options. So we'll be inserting new records into the destination table, but update the existing records. Since OLEDB command, which is the component which we need to use for updating records, is really slow because it's row by row, we opt in for another table to load records which needs to get updated and then do a bulk update. All right, so the other table, that update table, it can be either temporary table or a regular table. If it is a temporary table, you don't have to provide any name of the table, but if it is a regular table, we expect you to provide the name. Use temporary table if your update records are gonna be very less and it's not gonna affect your temp DB. Use regular table if your data set is large. Let's go with regular table so that we can see how we create a table create script for you. All right, let's go ahead and call it as demo underscore table underscore update. All right, the next step is to provide update strategy. We have two options: compare all the columns. That means it will the script will try to compare each and every column and determine if there is any difference, and then it will update main table from the update table. And the other option is compare SHA to hash. We basically create hash for each record and then store it in our database table and then compare it with the incoming hash value to determine if there is any difference and update it. SHA to hash is varchar 128, and like I said, we need to store it as a column in the destination table. All right, for demo purpose, let's go ahead and use that. And let's save and continue. This will open our ETL specification document. This ETL specification document, as you can see, first has destination connection, destination table, and package name. This is basically the information which we just provided in the other screen. If we need to do any changes, we can just click on edit and then change the specification details and save it. And the next step in our process is to provide all the source connections. Where are we getting our data from? So that is going to be the source connections. And if we have a query, we can provide that query by clicking here, or we can manually enter one table at a time using this table layout. Let's first start with creating a new connection for our source connection. In this particular example, I'm gonna use AdventureWorks 2016 as source itself. Alright, for demo purpose, I'm gonna create one more connection. Since SSISGen allows multiple connections, you can actually connect to multiple servers and use them as tables on a single server. Our SSISGen will automatically figure out which table is from which server and which connection, and it will automatically create the SSIS component based on your requirement. Alright, let's add a new connection. For this demo purpose, we have created a AdventureWorks copy. It's basic copy of SSISGen, AdventureWorks 2016. Alright, let's add that and let's do save and click OK. Alright, the next step is, like I said, we can I'll show the option of using the query in a minute, but for now let's look at how you can do it manually. Like you can just select the connection, and then you can directly select the existing tables or procedures, or you can go for a SQL query by using a derived column and then providing the SQL query right here. Or if it is a linked server table, you can use the other table and provide table in linked server, that is data link server dot database dot schema dot table, and that's it. It's like another table, but it's a different kind of table because we are providing link server and database name. All right, let's go ahead and cancel it. All right, and then once you have all the tables listed here, you can create multiple tables. You can use multiple tables. Just use add source to add a new table, and then AdventureWorks. Alright, it's complaining about using the same table name. We can use the same table from a different connection, but it needs to have a different alias name. That way it can be considered as different table. Let's click on join to provide join condition. Once we click on join, it will open this window where you can provide what's the table it needs to get joined to. In our particular example, we only have address, so let's select address. And then join type, it can be inner join, left outer join, right outer join, full outer join, and cross join. If we specify cross join, we don't have to provide any join condition, but if it is any other join, we need to provide join condition. And we can start providing join condition. Let's say we want to join based on address ID equal to address ID. This is a simple join. We can also do complex joins, like let's say if we want to write a case statement, we can still do that. Our app will automatically extend the text box to allow us to provide more details. And then here is an option, do not use lookup transform. SSIS lookup helps us to make sure that the package runs quickly, but if your table, let's say in this example address underscore 2, if it is a large table, then we don't want to use lookup because it's going to take a lot of memory, and we don't want to do that. And cardinality, you don't have to specify this, but if you already know what kind of cardinality is between table name, that is address, and address underscore 2, then you can provide that. This helps us to determine if we can use a lookup even though it is part of uniqueness. Okay, let's save. It might pop up with some or the other error message if there is any problem. In this case it says it's an incorrect syntax near then. Let's see what did we do. We missed saying what we want the condition to be. In this case we want to say equal to 10, then 1, else 0. Let's save it. Okay, now we got a different error. It's saying that data type of address id is int, but the uh, other expression case when is tiny int. It's asking us to perform explicit casting. Uh, if it is SQL Server, it doesn't have to have an explicit casting. SQL Server will automatically take care of explicit casting. But when it comes to SSIS, the data types needs to match. If not, SSIS won't allow us to join between those columns. So that's the reason we have this requirement. Let's click OK and add a cast statement. Alright, now let's go ahead and save it. Join condition saved. Click OK. Now the next thing is top condition. If we need to only, even though our source outputs more than, let's say, 1000 records and we only want top 1000 records, then we can provide that by using this top condition. Just click on that and provide the count you want to have and click OK. If you want to remove it, just click on that and it will automatically remove that. When it comes to distinct, if we want distinct output, we can select that distinct. If we don't, we can always unselect that. And then next, ETL filter condition. This is basically where condition and having condition combined. If you have an aggregate filter or a regular filter condition, we take care of both of them. So you can, it's basically saying, let's say address ID greater than 10. That's the filter. Or you can write as much complex as you can think of. Let's say you can just say anything like state providence in select. You can write subselects or anything you can think of, and we will take care of that. And next is providing column names. So these are the output column names. You can we can select the existing ones like address ID and use that same thing to provide as a column name, and then provide the data type for that. Let's say int. And if it is an identity column, we provide the identity. We can select this and say it's an identity column. If it is an identity column, it will try to use the, if we do not provide anything, it will automatically generate it. But if we provide a value, then it will try to use that column. And we are providing whether it's a nullable or not, and if it is if this column is part of uniqueness for this destination table. SCD type, it's currently disabled, but we'll be adding it soon. It's not part of available as part of current version. Default value, if we did not find any row, we can provide default value. Again, this is also part of future version. And creating an audit if there is no if we are using default value. When it comes to comment, it's an optional field. You can type whatever you want regarding that column. This is just an optional field for your understanding of why you use something or what that column means. And if you have any issue with that, you can just click on delete and it will automatically delete that row. And if you scroll to the bottom, we have save. Just use save if you don't want to generate the package, but if you need to generate the package, you can use save and generate. For this demo purpose, like I said, we can do this everything manually, or we can just provide a query right here. Let's go ahead and try to do that and see how all these values will get filled up automatically. So I have a sample query. This is a simple query. It joins person with person email address. But for demo purpose, I'm trying to create a subquery with multiple select statements, so which are joined by union all. Again, this is a simple query. One piece is less providing query which is less than business entity ID less than 50. The other one is greater than 50. And then it's a straightforward join, but we can, like I said, we can have anything here. We can also join and add subqueries. And then here in the where condition, I'm doing a subquery as an example. Let's go ahead and copy this query and click here and provide the query, and then click generate specification document. Again, if you remember, we had two different connections, AdventureWorks and AdventureWorks copy. Since this table exists in both the place, our process is asking, what do I do? How do I determine what needs to be done? In this case, we are saying, let's go for okay. So, let me step back a little. If there whatever question it's asking right now, it will highlight that query in blue, like what it's shown here. So right now we are saying what kind of connection do you want to provide for this subquery. So I'm gonna say AdventureWorks for this one, and for the other piece we'll have it as AdventureWorks copy. So this is the second inner table, and let's use AdventureWorks copy. Again, this is just for demo purpose. We just want to show how SSIS package is created, which automatically takes care of multiple connections. And so this basically creates multiple sources, one for the top subquery and one for the bottom subquery. Let's go ahead and save it. Now it's asking about connection for the main person.persons right here. So let's go ahead and use AdventureWorks for that. Save. And now it's asking about what to do, what connection to be used for the subquery in the where condition. And for this, let's use copy and save. As you can see, we pretty much just gave a query and it automatically took the values and created tables and created filter condition, and then also created the columns. All we did was just provide a query. Again, if the same table did not exist in multiple places, we wouldn't have seen that ambiguous table form. It would have automatically taken the table. All right, so as you can see, a table person.person is a table, and then there is a derived table with both the subqueries. Since this is a multi-select query, we can actually see what's the, this is a simple query, we don't really have to look at it, but if we need to look at each individual pieces, we can look at it by clicking on inner specification. Here we can see both the queries. We can select either one of them and then click on edit inner specification, and it will open the inner specification document. So in here, it basically said you are using person.email address table and filter condition is greater than or 50, and these are all the columns which are outputted from the subquery. All right, and if we want to change any of the connections, we can just click on inner table connections and then click on individual ones to change connections, and then save, and it will automatically reflect here. Similarly, change this one the other way around, click on save and then save. And once we are done with this change, we can hit save, and that's done. All right, so now the question will be how to change this connection for this subquery. Subquery connection can be changed by going into edit and then click on subquery connections, and it will open this pop-up window where we can change the connection of the subquery. Again, if there are multiple subqueries, we'll see all of the subqueries listed in here. And then let's go back and change it to this and save. All right, now that we have defined what tables and what's our filter condition and what's our tables, table columns, it's time to save and generate. Let's save it first. Right, okay. When you hit save and generate, it will ask for uniqueness. All right, there is an error message. At least one column needs to have ETL rule as sys system sha2 underscore hash. The reason it's asking for this is because we said we want to compare on hash key, and since we want to compare on hash key, we need to store that hash key in the table so that we can compare it with the incoming data. And the other message is please select unique checkbox for at least one column. Unique columns are used to determine if a record is either new or an existing record. So let's go ahead and for demo purpose, I'm going to pick this business entity ID, which is uniqueness for the person table, and also the other piece we had to do was provide the hash column. Let's call it sha underscore hash underscore row. You can name whatever you want, but and then provide data type as varchar 128, and then this is a default value. Oops. Then provide system sha hash2. Now let's click on save and generate. All right, it's going to save again. Now let's click on OK. All right, here it is. Like we said, if it is a brand new table, we will automatically create a script for you. And this information right here is saying that tables does not exist, so please go ahead and create them and then come back here and do the save and generate. Let's click on OK. Here we go. These are the two tables which we are talking about. The first table is the regular table and the second table is the update table. Let's double click on that. Like you can see, it it provides the database name where the table needs to be, and it creates a clustered index on the uniqueness column. Let's go ahead and execute this. Similarly, double click on that, it will open the other table. Let's click execute. So now these two tables are created. Let's go back to the application and do save and generate. Click OK. All right, the next question the process is asking is what columns can be ignored. The reason it asks this is if there are any columns which are like changing for every build, let's say for like if there was a create date column or a get date column or some column which changes every day, there is no point in using that. If we use that as part of comparison or hash key, then the hash key will be different every time. So we can exclude those columns which are auto generated. In this particular scenario, we don't have anything except the hash key. We don't have to select that because we automatically ignore that anyway. So let's do save and continue, and it's trying to create the SSIS package, and we can see the progress right here. If it is a first run, it might take some time, but here it is. Package is generated. Again, this is an SSIS 2016 package, and here it is, SSIS package. And if we go back to a folder above that and go to specification document files, we can look at the actual specification which got generated. Alright, as you can see, it did provide the ETL filter, and here it is, the table name, package name, sequence number, column name, data type, length, and all the ETL rules. And then if we go to the other tab, here it provides which table is coming from, which location, and how the join happens between the both the tables. So here you go. And if you want to look at log file, here is the log file. It's basically an JSON script which specifies um, what's inside, what's being used to create the SSIS package. I do have a plugin. I assume no, I don't. All right, this is a JSON script. It's only used for debugging purpose for our side. If you have any issues, you can send that log file, and we can look at it and try to find out the problem. All right, I think that concludes the demo. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for trying SSISGen.